Okay, so ordering rational numbers. So the first thing we're going to do is start to take a look at some of these numbers. And it starts off easier and it gets harder. Yes? Question?
Do you have an extra?
Extra.
This one.
Oh, yes. I wrote on that one. Come on up and grab it. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do before we can compare is to get them all in the same form, right? So I want to get them all into, what did you agree yesterday was easier when comparing? Decimals. Okay? Because decimals is money. Money is what we know. It's what we're comfortable with. And when we deal with money, we only go out 2 places. So that's all I need you to do today is think 2 places. So 2 of the 3 are already in decimal form. So what I'm going to do is put that third one, and I'm going to just do it right above it. So what is, and this is where, if you memorized what 4/5 is, then lucky you, put it. If you didn't memorize it, then you have to do some long division, right? So does anybody remember what 4/5 is equal to, Caitlin?
0.8.
Yes, it's equal to 0.8. So this is going to be 2.8, right? So that's the first step. Step 1 is going to be get all decimals. Okay? Step 2 is going to be actually go ahead and put them in order. Order them right underneath it. This one's easy. It's going to go quick. So I have money. I have $2.30, $2.80, $2.60. Now, when you order them, be careful though. Watch, please. You are not to use the all decimal form. So what I'm asking you is to order these numbers. This number is not going to be anywhere in your list. You use this number as a means to help you figure out where this 2 4/5 goes, correct? So in the ordering, you're actually going to write 2.3 or 2 3/10, comma, 2 6/10, comma, 2 4/5. So you have to include your original set of numbers. That's really important, okay? And then our third step is going to be to plot them on a number line, okay? So let's take a look at our number line for number 1. So figuring out the number line for number 1, I don't need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All of my numbers are between 2 and 3, right? So to make this a little easier, I don't need 0. I'm just going to make my number line, between 2 and 3. Okay. Number lines with decimals are 100 times easier than dealing with number lines and fractions. You want to know why? Because we know money, and I'm going to always have you start by splitting that whole number in half. So what if this is $2 and this is $3, Brian?
That one's $2.50.
Yeah. And you know what? Are those zeros necessary? No. But does it kind of help you a little bit? Think about money? Yeah. So after that, you know what you're going to do to make it even easier on yourself? We're going to go by dimes. We're going to go by 10 cents. And you know what we're going to do with that? Every single time. So this is 10 cents, $2.20, $2.30, $2.40. There's my $2.50. $2.60, $2.70, $2.80, $2.90. Now, am I going to actually label those though? No. You're not going to waste your time doing that. You're just going to kind of know that. All right, so I got my number line all set up. You can do this in a different color, same color if you want. So we're going to now, I'm just going to fold this so you can see it. I'm going to place these numbers on my number line. So it's pretty obvious where they go now, right? Thanks to these little helpful things. I split $1 into 10 parts. So this is $2.10, $2.20, $2.30. So this is going to be 2.3. So then it's pretty obvious where I put 2.6, right? Or 2 6/10. And now, here's the thing. I'm looking at 2 4/5. Do you think it might be helpful to go back up and look at what my decimal equivalent is? It's 2 8/10. So this is 60 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents, but I'm going to write 2 4/5. Got it? Okay, did you follow that? Okay, now they're going to get increasingly harder than that. Okay, we're going to throw some negatives in there soon. But until then, let's move on to number 2. Everybody okay with number 2? So let's get all decimals. Let's follow our step by step. So right above this, I'm going to put what each of these is, okay? Well, right now, I don't know what 3/16 is. There's no memorizing it. There's no 100 shortcut. Same deal for 5/48. So what are we stuck with? Long division, okay? But that's okay because watch. So the denominator always goes on the outside. And what did I tell you? Only go out 2 places. That's all you need to do. So watch, let's do this together. So 16 doesn't fit into 3, but it does fit into 30 once. And that gets me 16, right? So count up from 16 to 30, and you get 14, right? Okay? I want to show you something good here with long division, because the next problem we have to do is 16 into 140. Not fun. Not something you know off the top of your head. But somebody said to me, well, I know that 16 times 10 is 160, and that's kind of close to 140, so let's try 9. Okay? You don't have to do this, especially if you're doing it in pen. Notice that for the first time I'm using pencil. I almost always use pen, right? So watch. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 1 plus 5 is 14. So what happened? Do you remember when you first learned long division in 4th grade? I went over. This number should always be less than this number. So what does that mean? I tried to fit 9 16s in to 140, but I put one too many, right? So I need to make this an 8 and erase this. So that's just a nice reminder. So 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 1 plus this is this. You know what? I don't even need to finish it. Do I really need to finish it and subtract? All I needed was what? The decimal equivalent, and I got it. So right now I'm going to go up here and put that that's equal to 18 cents. And then you know what I do for the next one? The same thing. Because I got to figure out what 5/48 is. Make 48 your denominator. Goes in there. Now, watch. The only reason I'm doing this problem is to figure out if it's more than 18 cents or less than 18 cents, right? So let's only go as far as we need to. I can only fit 148 in there. I get 2. Can I fit a 48 into 20? No. So I put a 0 here. I don't even need to finish this problem, do I? I got what I needed to get. That 5/48 is equal to about 10 cents. Okay? I could keep going and figure out what it's equal to exactly, but for the purposes of what I need it for, I'm done. Right? So step 2. Now that you have them all in decimals, order them. What's the smallest amount of money up here? 10 cents, but I'm not going to write 10 cents because it has to be one of those numbers, so I'm going to write 5/48, comma, and you know what I do when I'm done? I cross it out because it's one less thing for me to look at. Then I have my 18 cents, which is really 3/16. Then I have my 50 cents. And I know that there's not a 0 after that. I don't want you thinking that's 5 cents. This is 5 cents, right? Okay? So add a 0 if it makes you feel better. And then 0.75. Okay? So I'm going to put these on a number line now. All right, so I need to get these on this number line. Are all these numbers in between 0 and 1? Yeah, actually they are. So I can go 0 and 1. What do I want you to put halfway in between every time? The half. And what money is halfway between no money and $1? 50 cents. Then I'm going to put every time 4 marks to represent 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 60, 70, 80, 90. Should space them out a little better than I did. And now I just plot them, right? So remember, this is practice for tomorrow's activity. So 5/48 is really, where do I put it? On the first dash, which is 10 cents. And I'm going to write 5/48 right above it. Well, 3/16 isn't too far away from that one, is it? It's 18 cents. Okay, Nick, you with us back there? So 18 cents is just before the 20 cents. So you need to know that that's 20 cents, even though you didn't label it. Oh, that should say 18. I almost wrote 20. Okay, and then the other two are pretty simple. 50 cents is right there. Actually, let's talk about 75 cents. If this is 50, 60, 70, 80, Mason? Yes, thank you. I knew that I was going to do that. Thank you. So 3/16. Glad you said that. And then 75 cents is going to go smack in between. So we saw that it doesn't need to go on a line, right? So 75 cents. Okay, you think you got this? Okay. Let's do number 3. Okay. So let's take a look at that. Step 1, figure out all the decimal equivalents. Hey, this is a good one. We know them right off the bat, right? Yeah.
So if it comes as a fraction, then you put it down as a fraction on the number line.
Yes. So when you order them, the only reason you ever need these decimals is just to help you figure out where they go. And after that, you'll never write that decimal again, okay? Like I did. Sorry, so that was a mistake there. So let's let's figure out the decimals. Does anybody know the fifths? 0.2. We're starting to memorize them, right? Put a 0 if you want. 12/25. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know that I could use that 100 shortcut, right? So what did I multiply by? And so what's another way to write 48 hundredths? So that is equal to 0.48. Okay? And then what is 4/5 equal to? If 1/5 is 20 cents, then 4 of them is 80. So now I'm not going to write those decimals again. I'm just going to use them to help me order them. So I got 5 to order. Which one is the smallest amount? 20 cents, but we're going to write 1/5. Then I'm going to cross it out because I'm done with it. Then what? 35 cents, which can be written as 35 cents because that's what it originally was. And you see where we go from here, right? So go ahead and keep going. The next one should be 48 cents, but we're going to write
12.
Yep. And then our 50 cents. And then our 4/5. And then I just got to get it on a number line, right? So for number 3's number line, where do we need to go? Are all of these numbers in between 0 and 1? Yeah. So I can do another 0, 1 number line. 0, 1, which means this is 50. Make your little 10-cent marks. 10 cents, 20, 30, 40, 50's there, 60, 70, 80, 90. Man, putting decimals on number lines way easier than fractions, isn't it? Okay. So let's get that 1/5 there. And 1/5 is equivalent to what? 20 cents, which is this second one, right? And I'm going to write 1/5. 35 cents, if this is 20, 30, 40, 35 is right in between. Oh, Nick, that paper is driving me nuts. Is it driving anybody else nuts back there? Like, all I hear is that paper. So could you, yes, done. Okay, thank you. Get settled. 12/25 is equivalent to what? 48 cents. So we're going to go just in front of 50 cents. And we're going to write what? 12/25. Okay. And then 50 cents, right on it. And then 4/5 is 80. Okay? All right, are we good with these so far? So let's talk about the negatives now. All right? Because number 4 has some negatives in it. Okay, only actually just has one, but. So, let's do the decimal equivalents. And it has a mixed number. What is the decimal equivalent to 1 and 1/4? 1 and good. Caitlin, you was going to say that. The only other one, does anybody know the eighths yet? I know there's a shortcut rule. Roger figured out that it goes by 0.125. So if you start with 0.125 and you keep adding 0.125 3 times, you'll get to what? 0.375. If some of you are like, what the heck did she just say? Then guess what? Don't worry about it. Do some long division and you'll be fine. Long division works every time, right? So this goes in there 3, which is 24. 8, this goes in here, 7. Now, if you continue to do this, I got really what I needed though. If you continue to do this, you would get a 5 next, which would round that 7 to an 8. So it's really 38 cents. But as of right now, for our purposes, you can just stick with 37 cents because that's what showed up, right? Okay, let's order them. Now, stop for a minute because this is something new. Whenever you are ordering and there are negatives involved, the first thing you do is look at the negatives and ignore everything else. And you have to picture which of these negatives is as far to the left as possible on that number line. Well, there's only one, right? So you know that it's negative 50 cents. And then the rest is pretty easy. So then you have your negative 25 cents. Then your 3/8. Then your 1 1/4. And then the last thing we're going to do is put this on a number line. And then work on our, we're going to do a little mini human number lines by our rows here in a minute. So before we do this, let's talk about this. Stop for a second. Because is from 0 to 1 going to be enough this time for this number line? No. So here's what I want you to do. I always want you to have the whole next number. So what are you going to suggest, Brian?
On the far left, put negative 50.
Okay, but that's not a bad idea, except I want to, what would be better to really help you see? Yeah. We want to go all the way to negative 1. So these marks I want to always be integers, which means they're positive or negative whole numbers. So I want to go all the way to negative 1, which means then if I need to go to 1 1/4, what next whole number do I want to go up to? 2. Because if I went up to 0, 1 1/4 is way over here. Even if I only went to 1, so I want to go to 2 because I want to fit everything in between. I don't know, did you see that, what I meant by that? So watch, you will when I get it up there. So if that's negative 1, that's 0, and that's positive 1. When it starts to get a little crowded, do you have to do your little your dime marks? No, but you know what I always like to do? I always like to do my half. Okay? So now it's pretty easy for me to put my negative 50 cents. Then my positive 25 cents. All right, now here's the deal. I don't have those little 10 marks, but I know if this is 50 cents, that where is 25? Yeah, in the middle of it and 0, right? Okay, where is my 3/8 then? It's equivalent to what? 37 cents. Well, if this is 25 and this is 50, it's probably right around here, right? I'm not going to say, no, you should have been a millimeter over. So this is 3/8. And then here's why I wanted this to go all the way to 2. Because if that's 1, where's 1 1/4?
It's above 1.
It's a little bit in front or behind it, technically, yes. So this is a half. This is 1 1/4. Okay? Are we good on this? So here.